Washington State ferries from Seattle, Tacoma, and Kitsap County take you to Vashon Island. It is an unincorporated part of King County, Washington, with a rich Puget Sound Island history. Home to over 11,000 people, Vashon Island offers a wide range of natural and outdoor recreational areas, a town center with amazing restaurants, shops, art galleries, and of course, special destinations. The Swiftwater Gallery is part of this diversified, art-focused community, a nonprofit co-op with over 55 local artists. Welcome to Vashon Island. Enjoy, because you're in the gallery.
I live in the middle of a madrona forest, and this is one of the largest groupings of madronas at this southern end of Maury Island, the southern end of Vashon Island, and they're kind of a special tree. There are not a lot of them, so just living here, I have been able to look at the madronas every day. There's some new idea. Well, when I was 5 in kindergarten, somebody said, "You draw good," and that influenced me forever. You know, I drew like a 5-year-old, but that kind of made me think I could do it. And so I just continued. My mom was an artist. She actually worked as a commercial artist for a while. And so I always had art materials. We just drew all the time at home. Yeah, I've done a lot of different styles and a lot of different mediums. I have done pottery. I have done watercolor. I did that for a long time. And then I switched to acrylics, and then I didn't like acrylics, and I switched to pastels, and now I'm doing oils. I've been doing oils since about 2000.
What gives you your inspirations?
Deadlines. Yeah, if you have to produce for the art tour, you start looking around, and basically it's what do I see around me and what would make a painting. And I have about 40,000 photographs on my computer that I just mine all the time, and then I'll see something and I'll say, okay, I could do that. If you're going to do a still life, you have to arrange it so that it looks good before you even start your painting. And a lot of times what I do is I set up a still life. I'll have a bright light shining on the still life, and I will arrange all sorts of shadows to make the still life more interesting by throwing a dark area in the background or a dark area in the foreground. And it limits the value structure of the painting. You get a light, a medium, and a dark, and it's clear. You can read it from across the room. I do all sorts of little tiny pottery pieces and fruits and vegetables and flowers. So I try to make it as interesting as I can. I'll put colored pieces of paper behind and in front of, just to make the whole composition either about color or about shadow or about some interesting reflections. I live on Vashon, and ferries are iconic to Vashon, and I thought, oh, you can't do that. That's just too trite, too tacky, too commercial. And then I decided that I could paint ferries if I just figured out a way to make each one interesting. And there's a difference between a photograph and a painting. A painting, you arrange all the elements, you add the light, you discern what you want to have most important. You can make the sky much darker than it is, so it doesn't just be the light spot in the painting. I have thousands of ferry boat photographs, and I look through them all the time to see what I could do to make a painting. I really work hard to try and get an emotional experience. And that's the thing about the ferries, is when the first time you take that ferry ride, you're going, oh, it's a ferry ride. I've never done this before. And you have an emotional response. They see the ferries and they remember getting on the boat and traveling here, and it was a little excursion, a little experience. And so they really enjoy seeing the ferries.